Hello, my dear friends. Today we are going to discuss something about the stages of development of human rights. Specifically, today we are going to discuss something about the generations of human rights. When we discuss something about the generations of human rights, then the generations of human rights have been divided into three parts mainly. Further, we will discuss now. So, the first generation of human rights. Now, prime question is before us, what is the first generation of human rights and which kind of human rights covered within the meaning of first generation of this human rights? So, I would like to clarify before you all. The rights which have been mentioned in International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966 are the first generations of human rights. This international covenant, namely the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966, is the specification and extension of UDHR which we have discussed in the last video. These are the traditional rights of individual which developed in Greek city. Greek city states after their consistent use for a long time. These rights have found place in the national constitution of all the democratic countries besides in international conventions, including European and African Convention. These rights, namely the first generation of human rights, have been placed in the Constitution of India under Part 3, Articles 12 to 35. These rights are covered in the first generation of human rights because, first of all, these rights are essential and compulsory for all. Mean first generation. What is first generation? Which type of rights covered within the first generation of human rights? As I have told you, means civil and political rights. So now, which rights often are called the civil and political rights, as we have discussed in the last videos. So please watch the same. Now further we are going to discuss something about the second generation of human rights. What is the second generation of human rights? Which rights covered within the meaning of second generation of human rights? Second generation of human rights covers economic, social, cultural rights. Now, next question is that which right generally called the economic, social, cultural rights as we have discussed in the last video. So please watch the same. Now, the rights mentioned in the International Covenant on Economic, Social, Cultural Rights 1966 are called human rights of the second generation. These rights were recognized and developed after completion of civil and political rights. These rights to be effective, otherwise there would have been so no meaning and sense of the rights of the first generation, the second generation of the rights. These human rights to be effective, otherwise there would have been no meaning and sense of the rights of first generation. Mean second generation is exclusively incomplete without the existence of first generation. Namely, it can be said that second generation of human rights depends on the first generation of human rights. The second generation of human rights has been contained in Indian context under Part 4, Articles 36 to 51 as directive principles of state policies as non-justiciable human rights in India, and also as duties of the states which are not enforceable by any court of India, but the same are the fundamental in the governance of the country. These rights come in the second generation because such rights are mandatory and required for all after the human rights of the first generation. Now, my dear friends, further we are going to discuss something about the third generation of human rights. Certain rights which have been incorporated in the Charter of United Nations generally may called human rights of third generation as the right to self-determination, right to development and right to peace are human rights of the third generation. The United Nations working hard realization of these rights. And the fourth generation of human rights which is under process and which is being developed. So right now there are three generations of human rights, as I have told you, my dear friends. As first generation of human rights, second generation human rights, and third generation of human rights, and fourth generation of human right is being developed and further being processed. So, if you like this video, please subscribe it, like it, and forward your comment as feedback, and kindly share this video. Thank you so much.